So next what we're going to do is talk about the Facebook interest tool here. So what we're going to do is just concentrate on this one tool and talk about everything that's available in this tool and show you some examples how to use it. So what we're going to do here, when you first open the software, you want to make sure you connect to Facebook. Every time you try to use one of the tools, if you're not connected, we'll give you a little warning here saying you need to click the gray Facebook button. So at the very top, you click that. Now if you've already connected before, attach it to your account, you'll notice that when you bring it up, you'll probably just see a white screen and then it disappears. That's because there's a built-in web browser, and the web browser has a built-in cache, so it kind of saves the information within there. But don't worry, like your password and Facebook email and things like that, they're not stored anywhere physically, kind of on your computer. So it's basically it's encrypted, and there's no way that anyone can steal it from you. So that's totally fine. You don't have to worry about losing any of your information or anything like that. So all you gotta do is click that. It just makes it really easy so that you don't have to enter in your email and your password every single time. But if you happen to actually disconnect, so right now I'm connected, and if you click this button one more time, it will actually disconnect you from Facebook. And then when you go to connect again, you're gonna have to enter in your information again. Like so. But if you don't click that button again to disconnect, like just say you close down the software. So if I bring the software back up here and then go and click this, you'll notice you don't have to enter in your information again. That just makes it a little bit faster, a little bit easier when you're using the software. So using this tool, what it does here, it will actually extract real Facebook interest keywords from the Facebook interest database within their API system. So this connects to the Facebook marketing API as well as their normal API. And all these keywords are legitimate. So they're not like, they're really part of the ad system. So let's do an example here. Let's type in, say for example, knitting is your niche. And now you can select these keywords and add them to your Facebook campaign within the interest section. So I've just opened up a browser here and have a sample campaign set up in one of my Facebook accounts, and I'm just going to go ahead and add the interest keywords in the detailed targeting section here. And to do that, there's many ways. So one way you can do is you can actually select all of them that are in here by just clicking this copy button. And when you paste interests into here, they actually have to be pasted separated by commas. So after you click this button here, and let's just open up a text file and right click and paste, you'll see that they're already formatted with commas between them. And that's what this magic little button does for you. And then you can go here and you can just right click and paste, or just Control C on your keyboard, or if you got a Mac, it's Command V. And there they are. All of them are put in there just like that. Pretty simple to use. Now, if you don't want to use them all, because a lot of times you'll see stuff in here that are not really relevant. Let's see, Knitting Daily. Or maybe there's some that has a really low audience they're not going to use. For example, you're not going to use like Noble Knits Yarn Shop. It's only 17,000 people that actually are interested in that particular keyword. So say there's only some that you want to see, and you sort them by audience. So if you just click the top of the column here, you can sort. And let's say you wanted to keep knitting, yarn, and these three here, and you want to put those into your Facebook account, or sorry, Facebook ad. You can right click, and there's a whole bunch of options here. You can copy selected targets to clipboard or copy all targets to clipboard. The copy all targets to clipboard is basically what this button down here does, the copy button. But if we copy selected targets, it will copy the selected targets that are selected with a checkbox. So now there's only 3 that we did. So right click and paste here, should only be 3, and there they are. Now there's going to come a time when you select a bunch of these and you notice you selected about 10 of them, and you go to paste them in here, and for some reason a couple of them didn't show up. I'm not sure why Facebook does that, but on occasion it just won't be pasted in there when it's all comma separated like this. If that's the case, then what you can do is just copy it individually. So what you can do is if you just highlight this cell here of this particular word, you can just go Control C and it'll actually just copy that word. And then you can just paste it in here, Control V. Then you can find it if it's there. But nevertheless, every single one of these keywords are coming from the API. So these do exist in there. So the next tool in here you want to do is you can use the Get Suggestions. So if you select knitting and hit Get Suggestions, it goes to the Facebook API and gets additional suggestions based on that keyword, and it appends them down here. And you can see it actually, interesting. So you see we got different keywords because the very first letter of this word is capitalized, and we didn't put a capitalizer. Facebook has these interests in here as all case sensitive, so you may get different keywords even if you just capitalize the first letter. So let's do it with yarn here, and you'll see the seed keyword is yarn, and you got all these suggestions. And sometimes these suggestions are not even relevant at all to whatever you're promoting, so you have to make sure that you go through these and they actually are relevant to what you're promoting. And one way you can do that really quickly is by using the filters. So if you click search down here, you can search within the results of the given columns that are text based. So in this particular data set, there's two columns that are text based, the FB interest column and the seed keyword column. And this one, audience size is numbers, obviously. So if you click down here, you can select the columns that you want to search, or filter I should say. So if you select FB interest, and I only want to see results that contain the word knitting or knit, just type that and it will automatically just filter as you're typing. So now you have all these here that you can work with. So to remove that, the search, and hide that little search box. You got some other settings here. You can actually select a bunch. Let's say you don't want these ones. You can right click and you can delete selected rows. You can also delete unselected rows. So say you've selected a whole bunch that you really wanted, but you're not interested in the rest. Right click and you can delete unselected rows. Now there's another option here, delete not found rows. This is actually only relevant for the other tools, not this particular tool, so you can ignore that one. You can clear all filters, so if you have a filter set in here, like that, you can clear filters by clicking this button, or right click and clear filters, and it clears that out. Gets it back to normal. It's kind of like an undo. If you want to search these keywords again within the search interest, you can right click and you can select the results and put them in here and then search again with these keywords. And you may come up with additional ones. You see we just banged out another 70 based on those few. So that's another powerful little tool there you can use. You can also select the keywords that you want to save into your manager tool. So you can right click and you can send selected to manager tool. And in the manager tool, you can basically just manage your sets of keywords or interests and save them to files and all sorts of stuff. And to do that, you got all the different options here on the left-hand side. Click that and you can save to data file, which is a data file that can only be opened by the manager tool. You save the text, it'll save all the data to text or comma delimited file. Or if you just want to just save the keywords to file or the to a comma delimited file, that's where you load the data file. You can load from a text file. You can also import keywords. So if you have a set of keywords from some other source, other keyword tool, or something else you love using, you can just enter them in here, or you can manually enter them. This is my word, another word, here you go. Just to give you an example. Done, it adds them all in, and then you can use the validate to try to validate those, and we found one of them. You was a word inside the database, Facebook interest database. So then you got your validate, import, I just showed that one. Okay, you got your search as well, so you can search in here as you type. Search is in the target column. You can also copy. So copy selected to clipboard, copy all targets to clipboard. You can also paste from your clipboard as well. Like so, let's say for example, let's just take a few words here. maybe one more. Let's say you have copied these to your clipboard, so right click and copy. What you can do is you hit paste, and it'll paste them in there for you. You can clear that out. Another thing you can do, I figured to make it so much easier, just click anywhere in here, doesn't matter, and just go Control V on your keyboard, and it'll just automatically paste in there. Here's another really cool thing. Let's say you had a bunch of keywords copied but to your clipboard, but they're separated by commas. The software will automatically detect that and put it in there for you. So I went Control V on my keyboard, or you can actually go paste. That's cool. Let's go back to this tool here. You also have a bunch of functions or features here to in the file button, so you can save all these keywords to a file. It just saves it to a text file, or you can open a text file and load it in here. You can copy the clipboard. You can also paste from the clipboard. You can append your power words, so that's another feature in here as well. So if you click this power words button at the top, and you've got all these different power words that you may like to use all the time, like association, foundation, federation, society. This one here is not relevant. It's from another example. And if you lose all these words, you can always just load the defaults. Click done. And in here, let's say, for example, you're searching for a nurse niche. You can right click and append power words to that word, and it'll automatically do that for you. Then you can go ahead and search throughout Facebook for all those different words to see if it come up with different things related to, you know, nurse book, newsletter, magazine, all sorts of things. So that's a handy little tool to have as well. You also remove duplicates and clean keywords, like a bunch of junky stuff that's in there, like characters that are not really relevant. That'll work as well. Or you can clear them all out. So I think I've pretty much looked at it. Oh, there's some more over here. I forgot about this. You can also save this data that you have in here to a data file. Now the data file will be only specific to this tool. If you save from the FB Interest tool, it'll save it to an FB Interest data file, and you can only load back in FB Interest data file into this grid. But you do have the option to save all the data to a comma delimited file as well as a text file. Another couple of very handy features here is sometimes you're saving a file and you forget where you saved the file. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, and it's just so annoying when any other software I'm using, it just really irritates me and I can't remember where I saved it. I've got like 6 hard drives attached to my computer. You can imagine how many places I have to look to try and find what I saved. So I integrated this to make it easier. So this will just open up the last place you saved a file. So it's so handy. It goes right to where you're working. Or if you want to get to the install folder, this is really handy too, because a lot of times I like to create folders within my install folder. And let's say, for example, I went and saved my file on a completely different hard drive, right? And I want to get back to that folder that was originally in the install folder. But when I use the open last working folder, I'm opening it up in some other hard drive. I don't want to be there, but I want to get back to the install folder. That's where this comes in handy. So that's why I integrated that as well. And those are integrated in each and every tool. I also put in the send to manager tool here and copy targets to clipboard in this file menu as well. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep those there. So if we don't see them there, that's okay. They're always going to be available in the right click when you right click the grid. And of course, as I've continued developing the software and doing updates, some things may slightly change here or there, but it'll be basically quite similar. But you might see things like this might not be there. I'll just basically move them around. A lot of things are redundant. That's basically everything I want to show you for the Facebook Interest tool. It's a very powerful tool, and you can generate like literally thousands of really good keywords that you can use in your ads. I'll see you in the next video.